Basil meets Indian envoy and demands general election first. Rajapaksha sans Basil, Namal are for Ranil. UNP supporters in SJB under attack. Sujeewa reveals what conspiracy book didn't say.
The leader, දේශයට මග කියන ප්‍රවෘත්ති පෙළගැස්ම.
Basil meets Indian envoy and demands general election first. Basil Rajapaksha's prominent role in local politics seems to come into play once again after a brief hiatus. He was recently met by the top envoy from India, which finds in Basil their most trusted agent here. Matters of politics and what could happen in the future came under discussion between the two. Later, Basil summoned a SLPP-only meeting and gave a brief about the Indian government's stand on things that matter. Speaking to News First, he doubted if the incumbent regime was of their own. "We are not agreeable to putting off key elections. We are against it. In my opinion, a general election should come first," he said. His argument is that holding that election after presidential polls will not portray the true public opinion. The winner in the presidential race, even by one vote, could gain a parliamentary majority as in the case of 2020, said Basil. He is exerting pressure on President Ranil Wickremesinghe to dissolve parliament in late April and hold a general election in early July. For his part, Ranil sent the ball back to Basil's court, giving him a message via a minister to provide him with a petition signed by a majority of MPs that they want parliament dissolved.
ඔක්තෝබර් 18ට කලින් ජනාධිපතිවරු තිබ්බහම ජාතික ජනබලවේගයෙන් පත් වෙන ජනාධිපතිවරයා අනුකුමාර සානායක සහෝදරයා ඉස්සෙල්ලාම කරන දෙයක් තමයි මේ දූෂිත පාර්ලිමේන්තුව විසිරලා දාන එක. එහෙම කරන්න ඕනේ නැද්ද? කරන්න ඕන. මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුව විසිරවනවා. විසිරවලා ළඟම කාලෙන් ඡන්දෙ දිනනවා. ඔකට සති 8ක් විතර යනකොට උපරිමයි. ඒ කියන්නේ දෙසැම්බර් 15ට කලින් ජනාධිපති ඡන්දෙත් ඉවර කළා, මහ ඡන්දෙත් ඉවර කළා. මේ රටේ අපේ ආණ්ඩුවක් ජනාධිපතියෙක් හදාගෙන රට හදන්න පටන් ගන්නවා.
In the meantime, the JVP-led Compass says the first thing they will do after the presidential polls is dissolving this corrupt parliament. But why does Basil insist on a general election first? Take a look at the rest of this video and leave your comment on that. Rajapaksha sans Basil, Namal are for Ranil. Whatever is said and done by Basil, Namal and their followers, the rest of the Rajapaksha family support the president, according to Wajira Abewadina. Shiranthi, Yoshitha, Rohitha, Chamal and his family, as well as Lalith Chandradasa's family in the US, are busy supporting Ranil. The claim that Ranil protects the Rajapaksas was confirmed once again when he answered a question raised about the monies swindled by the Rajapaksas. Ranil had this to say about it during a meeting with youths at Taprobane Entertainment recently.
රාජපක්ෂලා හොරකම් කරලා තමයි අපි දුප්පත් වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට ඒ සල්ලි ටික මෙතන ඉන්න හැම එක්කෙනාගේම පොදු ප්‍රශ්නේ. ඒ සල්ලි ටික රිකවරි කරලා ගන්න අද වෙනකම් වැඩපිළිවෙලක් අපි දැක්කේ නැහැ. ඒකට අපිට හොඳ විකල්ප මාර්ගයක් පනිෂ්මන්ට් එකක්. ඒ සල්ලි ටිකත් අපිට ඕනේ. එතකොට අපි පෝසත් වෙනවා පොඩ්ඩක් හරි. ඩොලර් බිලියන 2කට 3කට අපි ණය ඉල්ලන්න කොයිවත් යන්න ඕනේ නැහැ.
මම කාලේ ඉල්ලන්නේ 2042 වෙනකම් මේ ණය ගෙවන්න. එච්චර අමාරුවක ඉන්නේ. ඉතින් එක පුද්ගලයෙක් දෙන්නෙක් නැත්තම් ලංකාවේ මුදල් ගෙනිච්ච අය ගත්තේ මුදල් ආපහු අරගෙන මේක විසඳන්න පුළුවන් කියලා කිව්වොත් ඒක සම්පූර්ණ අසත්‍යයක්. දෙවනුව තියෙන්නේ රාජපක්ෂ මුදල් කියන එක. ඇත්ත වශයෙන්ම දැන් මං අලුත් කොමිසමක් පත් කරලා තියෙනවා. ඕනෑකෙන්ට ගිහින් ඒ ගැන බලන්න. අපි ආණ්ඩුවේ හිටියද්දි විභාග කරලා බැලුවා මේ ගැන. නඩු දාන්න තියන අයට නඩු දැම්මා. අනික් අය පිළිබඳ සාක්ෂි මොකක්වත් තිබුණ නැහැ. ඒත් අලුතෙන් කියනවා නම් දැන් අලුතෙන් තියෙනවා අපේ අලුත් කොමිසම කරුණා කරලා වාර්තා කරන්නට කියන්න අපි කවුරුවත් ඒතෙන්ට ඇඟිලි ගහන්න යන්නේ නැහැ. ඒත් කියන අයත් ඔප්පු කරන්න ඕන එච්චරයි තියෙන්නේ. නැත්තම් මේ මට නිකන් ගිහින් නඩු දාලා මෙයා වෙන්න බෑ. කවුරු හරි රටෙන් මුදල් අරගෙන ගියා නම් ඒක ආපහු ගන්න ඕනේ. ඒත් මේ මුදල් ඔක්කොම අරගත්තත් අපිට තියෙන ආර්ථිකය වෙනස් කරන්න මේකෙන් ගොඩ එන්න. ඒත් මේ ප්‍රශ්න දෙක එකතු කරලා විසඳුමක් එන්නේ නැහැ. එකක් තියෙන දූෂණය, ඒ කරපු අය දඬුවම් කරන එක, ඒක ආපහු ගන්න. අනික තියෙන ආර්ථිකය හදලා මේ වැඩ කටයුතු කරන්න. මේක මේ හැම එක්කෙනාම බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන පිළිතුරක් නෙමෙයි. මේකයි ඇත්ත.
Which means Ranil tries his best in his balancing act. But there is truth in what he says. Anyone who understands the gravity of the issue knows popular slogans like recovering swindled money is not a solution. The remedy to swindling lies in a system like the one in operation in Singapore. But no one seems interested about that. UNP supporters in SJB under attack. Yesterday, media loyal to Sajith Premadasa carried news to the effect that 2,000 supporters of the SLPP, SLFP and the JVP have obtained SJB membership. Addressing a member recruitment drive in Thalawa, Sajith said the SJB has proved to the opposition its ability to bring in new investments and revenue within the limited space available in a situation where funds to provide relief is limited. He went on to reject endless promises given to deceive the people of a bankrupt country. Anyway, infighting in the SJB is now increasingly evident. Dylan Pereira, who crossed over in December, says Harsha de Silva now supports the government and gets recommended mostly by Mahindananda Aluthgamagai. Speaking to journalists on the 13th, Dylan said knowingly or unknowingly that Harsha should not become the spokesman for Ranil and that he should be the finance minister of Sajith's government. When Harsha was named to chair the Committee on Public Finance, it was people like Mahindananda who defeated him. Now, he finds Harsha to be quite attractive because he supports the government, said Dylan. At last Sunday's UNP rally in Kuliapitia, Ranil said, UNP supporters in the SJB were now getting attacked by Sajith's cronies. Excepting for a few, many of the veterans who crossed over from the UNP have become a silent lot today. Have they said goodbye to politics? Or Sajith does not allow them to come up the ladder? Are they measuring their options? Answers to the above will decide the political scenario in a considerable way. Sujeewa reveals what conspiracy book didn't say. Since the day Gotabaya launched his conspiracy book, things unknown and left unsaid from his rule are coming out in the open from other quarters. Sujeewa Bandara made such revelations in an interview with Truth with Chamuditha channel. He accused PB Jayasundara of being the main conspirator in Gota's downfall. General Egodawela kept Gota out of reach for everyone, while Kamal Gunaratne and Shavendra Silva played a game against him, said Sujeewa. Now the Colombo district operations chief of the Nimal Lanza faction, he spoke about an attempt on the life of Gota when 150 to 180 people laid siege on his Mirihana home. Furthermore, he made some more exposures during a rally in Avisawela on the 11th. References in Gota's book to Amalpisobitha Thera gives an impression to the readers that he is a Judas in the nationalist camp. Worried by that, the Thera is getting him too implicated and makes false accusations, said Sujeewa. He claimed Sobitha Thera called him on 12th of July 2022 and demanded Gota step down from the presidency. He promised to arrange a free passage for him to leave the country without any disruption from Aragalaya, if he gave a written undertaking, said Sujeewa. He went on to say that as the executive president at the time, Gota had no need to agree to such suggestions. Moments before Ranil took oaths as the Prime Minister on May 12th that year, the Thera again threatened Gota that he and other monks would set themselves ablaze in front of the President's house if Sajith was not made the Premier by agreeing to his conditions. Sujeewa said he was sad that the Thera was making false claims for fear of getting rejected by the nationalist camp. So, a host of more untold conspiracies had apparently taken place then. There are some things people never bring out to the open during their lifetime, but there are instances to the contrary at critical junctures. Then, the hero becomes the villain, and the villain becomes the hero. Political critic Gamini Viangoda says something different to what Sujeewa and others say. In his column for the weekend newspaper Anida, Viangoda agrees there could have been an international conspiracy as claimed. Any such conspiracy should have had home backing. In Sri Lanka, it took the shape of a socio-economic nationalist project. In its forefront was Viathmaga that ruined both the economy and national reconciliation. It will be a service to the country if the home supporters of the conspiracy are brought before courts, until Gota tells, at least in his next book, as to who these foreign forces or country behind this international conspiracy are. He says, Viangoda gives a list of names of the probable accused in such a court case, including Ajith Nevad Cabral, W.D. Lakshman, P.B., Anuruddha Padeniya, Athuraliya Rathana, as well as a famous astrologer among others. Gota had only raw nationalism in him and had not a hint of knowledge about how to run a country, says Viangoda. There is something worth thinking about in what he says. Make your comment on that as well. That's it for today.